Good morning. Okay, I can see comments this morning. Awesome. Good morning, ladies. I know it's about a minute early, but I just thought I would try and pull on and log on to make sure that everything was working. I was having some technical difficulties the other day, so I wanted to make sure everything was working all right. It is a pleasure to be here with you this morning. So I'm going to give it just a minute to see if anybody logs on. If you are on and watching live, if you could pop in the comments. I'm actually getting to see comments today. That was one of my problems the other day. I could not see any comments and it was making me crazy. Absolutely crazy. So yay, I can see comments today. Woo! Score. If you're here with me and you're here with me this morning, I'm going to ask you to grab your phone. Oh, there. That's my grandson, isn't he beautiful? Well, number 3 grandson. They're all beautiful, but that's the most recent picture. Anyway, so good morning. My name is Liz Kleba. My company is Closet Play Image. I'm an image, wardrobe, and color consultant. I often tell people to think of me as a personal trainer for your personal style. We get your style and your wardrobe in the best shape of your life with no judgments, no measurements, and a dose of fun. That's why I call it Closet Play. But I would like to thank all of you for being here this morning, or if you're catching this on the replay, that's awesome too. I would like to thank Haley especially for inviting me to come do a training with you ladies today. I'm very excited. I'm that kind of person, sorry. And also many thanks to Jessie for all the hard work you do behind the scenes. You are a rock star, so thank you, Jessie. So my topic today is mindful dressing. So how do I come to all this? I don't have a preset speech here. I've got a couple of note cards posted up on the wall behind because I don't want to go too long. Your time is incredibly valuable. So I want to keep this to no more than half an hour. I'd like it to be even less than that. God willing, it will be. So anyway, how did I come here in front of you today and why am I talking about mindful style? Well, I told you what I do, but I like to think of myself as a mindful dressing evangelist. And really, there's been a lot of steps to get to where I am in my life, just like there's a lot of steps for you. And we all have different journeys to get to where we go. I've been dressing men and women my whole life. I've had a lifelong love of style and fashion. You could blame Barbie, you could blame my mom, but it turns out that that was just a good niche for me, but it wasn't always a great niche for me. So in high school and college, I worked fashion retail and I loved working fashion retail. I did not like, by the way, the holiday season. Nobody likes to work holiday retail season unless they're like some sort of masochist. But I did love working with women. I loved, and men, but really when you get to turn a woman around in front of the mirror and she sees herself with different eyes and all of a sudden her shoulders go back and she stands up just a little bit taller and her neck gets a little bit longer and her head's just a little bit higher. That's an amazing feeling. That's empowerment, right? When you feel good about yourself, that's empowerment. And really what we wear and how we dress can empower us or disempower us. And so fast forward quite a few years, I stopped working retail after high school and college, after college. Worked retail management. Hi, good morning, Julia. Worked retail management for a few years and became very disenchanted because I understood very quickly that when you're in management, it's not about helping women, it's about making numbers. And when you're not the buyer, it's not your own store. Like if you own your own store, that's amazing because then you're in charge of the buying. You can buy what works for your clientele. But when someone else is doing that, and those of us in management and sales are just selling, but I want to build a relationship with my clients. It's about building relationship. That way they trust me, they come back to me, they keep coming back for more. But that doesn't work if I put them in something that's ugly and doesn't suit them. And then their closet wears it or they get funny comments when they go out. Then they don't trust me. We break that relationship. So after that kind of integrity disconnect of realizing that I could not stay in retail any longer because of that problem, I ran off and joined the Navy. I know it was a little drastic, but I did. So fast forward through 30 some odd years of 10 years in the Naval Reserve, 20 plus years as a Navy wife, military wife, now ex-military. I should clarify that. Now retired military wife, not retired wife, but retired military. Hi, Joanne. Oh, it's so good to see you here today. Retired military, bookkeeper, tax preparer, a lot of different things in the interim. We got back to the States after many years of moving and living overseas. As a matter of fact, I could call myself an international moving specialist as well, because we had 6 international moves in less than 20 years. But when we got to the States, I went back to school, got my master's in teaching, and taught Spanish in the classroom for 6 years, and I love that. But I was getting those little promptings and those nudges from inside that it was time to step away from that and move on to something else. Cast about for a few years, not knowing what that was going to be. And it turned out that starting my own business was what I needed to do, because I needed the flexibility. I needed to be able to engage my time and work for myself. So that's when I founded Closet Play Image in 2017. So long way around, really, what does mindful dressing mean, right? So all of that to say, I learned through all those experiences and all that time, particularly spent overseas, really how cultural and how dressing is a language. So mindful dressing really just means, and that's how I work with my clients as well, mindful dressing means aligning your look, the look of the day, with your personality, your purpose, and your goals. And ideally, that look will be in harmony with your physical self as well. And I'll talk a little bit about the reasons for that later, but really aligning your look with your personality, your purpose, and your goals. So before we go any further, I'm going to ask anybody who's watching to pick up your phone, and take a selfie. Long distance selfie's great. Overhead shot if you want to see your whole outfit. Make sure your face is in there too and your hair. But go ahead and take a selfie. I'll wait just a second while you take a selfie. Maybe you need to turn on your phone. Maybe you need to grab it. It's okay. Oh, and you might want to turn it. I've turned mine off. Did I turn mine off? Yes, I turned mine off. Fantastic. So it doesn't bother us while we're talking. So you're going to need that selfie in a little bit. But what's the expression? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Our image, the way we present ourselves, is worth 1,000 words as well. And so often we think of our image as irrelevant. And there are cultural reasons for that. That's a whole nother talk and training that could go on for a couple of hours. I could even probably write a thesis about it. But suffice it to say, it's a cultural thing. The problem is we have 2 diverging pieces. We've got that image is all important piece, and we've got that image doesn't matter at all piece. And the truth is it's neither nor. It's somewhere in between. And we need to live in that in-between place that can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, because black and white is easy, gray can be a little awkward. But right now we are making so many of our first impressions virtually, whether that's showing up on a Zoom meeting or through social media, really is how most of us are making our first impression known. And the interesting thing about first impressions is that first impressions aren't judgments. People will get really defensive when I tell them what I do sometimes. And they'll go, well, nobody cares what I think, or nobody cares what I wear, or it doesn't really matter how I show up. And unfortunately, the data and the research shows that that's not true. But first impressions are vitally important, literally. The funny thing about a first impression is you only get one chance to make a good first impression. The funny thing about first impressions is we think they're judgments, but they're not. First impressions are made back here in this kind of lizard part of our brain. Judgments are made up here in the cerebral cortex, where we do our thinking and our reasoning. But unfortunately, judgments happen back here. And there's a biological reason for that. So our brain, tens of hundreds of thousands of years ago, when we were living in caves, our brain needed to make an instantaneous decision when we ran across a new being or a new creature. And we needed to say to ourselves right then, is this friend or foe? We couldn't rely on the cerebral cortex up here to go, yes, maybe not. Well, he might be nice. He looks nice. It had to happen back here. It had to happen instantaneously because it was a matter of life and death. Is that person going to knock me over the head with a rock and eat me for lunch? Or are they going to sit down on the rock next to me and share their lunch with me? I mean, first impressions were, like I said, vitally, in the sense of life-giving, vitally important. So fast forward however many tens of thousands of years, no, they're not as important now for most of us, but unfortunately, this part of our brain doesn't know that yet. It still creates those first impressions, and they happen in milliseconds. So when somebody's scrolling their feed, their first impression of you is right there. Or they, see your comment on Facebook, and they click on you to see who you are. It could be the comment that you make is the first impression that you make. So it's really important that we be aware of how our first impression can rule things for a very long time. Now, you can overcome a first impression. The trick is, so there's good news and bad news to that. So the good news is you can overcome a first impression. The bad news is the data and the research shows that it takes 11 follow-on consecutive positive interactions. That's a mouthful. 11 follow-on positive consecutive interactions to smooth over, not erase, because this part of our brain is kind of cement, but to smooth over a negative first impression. And to be honest, how are you going to get 10 or 11 more positive interactions when somebody has already discounted you the first time you opened your mouth on Facebook, or they scrolled by your feed on Instagram and they didn't like what they saw? It can be a little overwhelming. So it's really about how you show up in the world and how you choose to show up in the world. How are you showing up in real life, and how are you showing up on social media? So I said that mindful dressing is about aligning your look with your personality, your purpose, and your goals. So let's start with personality. And I do want to make a quick distinction here between personality and mood, because my personality is who I am. My mood is a passing thing. It's the feelings that I'm having in an instant, and they can come and go. And they come and go very quickly. Yeah, that is a lot of extra work. Yeah, who wants to go through all that extra looping to make, it is just easier to make the first impression the right time. You are very correct about that, Joanne. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't know what that first impression is going to be. Like what that person is looking for, which is why the personality thing is so key. We really want to express who we are and come across as authentic in our personality. So back to that personality versus mood. A lot of people will tell me, oh, well, I don't decide what I want to wear the night before because it depends on my mood the next day. And I would challenge you to think about this. Is your mood running the show, or are you running the show? Self-sovereignty is key. I know Haley talks about that, probably not in those words, but self-sovereignty is key. You have to decide who's running the show. You or your mood, like an inside out, or is sadness dragging you around, or is anger running the show? You want to be the one running your show. And being aware of, you can be as aware of your feelings and moods as you want, but you want to be the one in charge. So the question is, are you dressing the mood that you are having, or are you dressing for the mood you want to have? And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Now, authenticity is key here. We want to express your personality in the way you dress, because that's what style is, literally. Style is your personality showing up on the outside. And a lot of people will tell me, and I see this all the time on Instagram, on Facebook, on other forms of social media, that they're just being authentic. I love that. I love that phrase. I'm just being authentic. Well, it's interesting because authenticity, people are using that as an excuse. There's a difference between reality and dirty laundry and authentic. And I actually went and looked up what the word authentic means. And I'm going to have to read this, so it's going to look a little funny as I look at my card. But authenticity, and I love it in the dictionary when they use the word to define the word, not a good thing. Teachers don't like that. The teacher part of me hates that. So authenticity is the state or condition of being authentic. So then you have to go look up authentic. Authentic means genuine, original, legitimate, reliable, dependable, and trustworthy. Wow. That is not the same as showing up in my pajamas or showing up a hot mess. Now, I don't want to say that you don't ever have to show up that way, but if that's the picture you're putting out there regularly, is that really authentic to you? Is that who you are? But authentic means genuine, original, legitimate, reliable, dependable, and trustworthy. Those sound like good things to be putting out there, particularly if you're a business person. So the reason authenticity is so key is that authenticity builds trust, right? When we say what we're going to say and we say and do what we're going to do, we build trust with the people around us. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So I'm driving down the road, driving down the strip. And where I live, our strip is Washington Road. So for people who live in my neck of the woods, it's Washington Road. Now there's a strip in your town or in the next town over. And it's got a bunch of fast food joints. You're driving, maybe it's Friday afternoon. Driving on Friday afternoon, got up, took off work a little early, or maybe it's lunchtime. Driving, car cuts me off in traffic. And that car on the back end has a whole pile of bumper stickers. And one bumper sticker says, "He who dies with the most toys wins." And another bumper sticker says, my hunting dog beat up your honor student. And another bumper sticker on the back says, "My wife, yes, my dog, maybe, my gun, never." And when that person cuts you off in traffic, like, you lay on the horn because you want everybody around you to know that there's been a problem. But you're not surprised at that person cutting you off in traffic. Even if they've cut you and flipped you off, right? You're just going, well, yeah. Truth in advertising, as they pulled in front of you, right? So next Friday, you're driving the strip again, cruising down the road, and again, someone cuts in front of you and they flip you off, just like last Friday. But this car is a cute little hybrid, and on the back it's got a coexist sticker and an "I love puppies" and "we should all get along." I'm sorry, I'm waving my hand in front of the camera like that. But the whole back of the car is covered in love and peace and joy, and they just cut you off and flipped you off. So what happens? Like, there's no truth in advertising there, right? We get indignant. Like, that person who cut in front of me and flipped me off, now I'm peeved. Same thing happens when we show up in the world and we package ourselves one way and we come across as another. And when we create that disconnect, that authenticity disconnect, we disconnect trust. And we want to keep that authenticity. We want to keep trust, because authenticity builds trust. Trust builds relationships, and relationships drive business. People don't buy your product, they buy from you. I know Haley talks about this all the time. We'll get there in just a second. People are buying from you. So I assume, it looks like I'm having video issues, and I don't know if I need to disconnect and reconnect or just hang out for a minute. Wonder where we're going with this. I love it when this happens. And I don't know if the camera is still seeing me or if, here, let me go look at my stream health. I'm not real sure how that's going. Stream setup. We're having trouble playing this video. I think I'm gonna log off and log back on. That's about all I can think to do. Oh, it says I'm still streaming. Okay. There we go. Oh, it's fine? Thank you. So glad it's fine. Thank you. Oh, and good morning, Barb. So most of the women here on this site, I'm assuming, are entrepreneurs. Or maybe you're involved in a passion project, or you're thinking about starting your own business. So this is kind of a good news, bad news talk on a lot of scales. So if you're an entrepreneur, you are your brand's ambassador 24/7, 365. You are your brand's best ambassador. And so the question is, are you representing yourself in a way that is your brand's ambassador? There are thousands of people who have the product or service that you have. But like I said a moment ago, they're not buying your product or service. They're buying that product or service from you. They're buying into you. There are thousands of business coaches out there, Haley, and Haley knows that. But you've connected with Haley, and that's why you're here. There are thousands of image consultants and brand specialists out there, personal branding specialists. But people choose me because they're choosing me. They choose Closet Play Image because they choose to work with me. Same thing if you sell Arbonne, or you're a Rodan and Fields or a Mary Kay representative or Isogenics. They're not buying your product, they're buying they're buying you. And are you speaking to your target market? Are you speaking to your ideal client? If you're a personal coach and you're helping people get over some humps in their life and some struggles, and they're looking for peace, and you come across in your feed, or you come across when you talk to them as a hot mess, is that representing the ideal that they're looking for? So as an entrepreneur, you are your business. And you never know when you're going to have that opportunity to talk about your business to someone else, or you might meet a referral partner, somebody who is not interested in your services, but could be feeding you clients. And you do not ever want to have to apologize for being underdressed. I've met the number of people in my life I've met who have apologized for being overdressed I probably can't even count them on one hand. But the number of people who have apologized for being underdressed, I think we've all done it, and we don't like the feeling. So you're not having, excuse me, I'm gonna grab a sip of water. You don't have to look like you're at work all the time. But what you need is a consistent visual image that crosses platforms. So I need to be as recognizable at work as I am at the grocery store on Saturday morning, at the ball field watching my child or my grandchild play ball on Thursday afternoon, when I show up on social media, or at the park on Sunday, or at church, wherever it is I go. So I need to have a consistent visual image because I need to be recognizable. I want people to go, oh, yeah, you're that woman I've seen on Instagram. Oh, yes, you're the financial professional. So you don't have to wear the suit all the time, but you need a consistent image across platforms. That is key, because you never know when you're going to meet your next client, your next referral partner, and you certainly don't want to run across someone who wants to introduce you and have them look and go, oh, they're not looking their best today, or they're not looking ready for business today. We agonize over our logo. We agonize over our product pics. We agonize over the copy we write. We should give at least as much thought to the visual image that we project every day on social media and IRL when we walk out into the world. Because your visual is part of your message. It's not disconnected from it. It is actually the part of your message that's seen first. And not only is it part of your message, it's part of your value. Oh, that can be scary. So actually what I want you to do right now is grab the picture, the selfie that you took, and I want you to take a look at your selfie. So is the woman in the selfie the value you want to project? Now, I do want to make something really clear here. Your personal value does not change. Your personal value is based on your humanity. You're a human being. You are invaluable. But your perceived value changes. Your personal value, your actual value, you could be wearing a business suit, a bathing suit, or your birthday suit. It doesn't change. But your perceived value changes dramatically depending on what you wear. So if you look at that picture, how much is that woman worth an hour? Or what is that woman's salary? They did a study, and so this is fascinating because not only does what you wear affect how other people perceive you, but it actually also affects your personal perception, your self-perception, and it affects your performance. There's a really fascinating study, and it's peer-reviewed, scientific journals, replicated, everything else. It was done in the UK. It's also been done, I think, at Northwestern University here in the US. They took a large cohort, and they took the group, gave them a performance test. No problem. Everybody scores on their performance test. So there's your baseline. They go back and they break the group into three. First group, they give the test again. That's our control group. Second group and third. Group one, the control group, they give them a white coat. And they put that white coat on the back of their chair. And they say, this white coat is going to be here on the back of your chair while you take your test. So they take their test. Group two is given the white coat, and they're told to put on the white coat. And they're told they're wearing a doctor's coat. So they button up their doctor's coat, and they sit down and they take their test the second time. Third group goes to take their test, and they're given a coat as well. They're given the same white coat that the doctor group is wearing, but they're told that their coat is a painter's coat. Everybody takes the test a second time. First group with the coat on the back of the chair performs statistically the same as they did on the first. The group wearing a doctor's coat performs statistically better than they did on the first try. And the group wearing the painter's coat performs statistically more poorly than they did the first time. Ow. What we wear affects how we perform. Mary Kay Ash knew that. That was the reason she told her, I don't even know what we call her representatives, there we go, that you don't start making your calls for the day until you are dressed to shoes, you have on your makeup, and then you can pick up the phone. It wasn't old-fashioned. She was ahead of the science. So it's not only about how other people perceive you, but how do you perceive yourself? Like, what kind of day are you having? Are you having a day where you need to kick A and take names? Look at that picture. Are you dressed in a kick A and take names way? Are you having a day where you're going to be solid in front of the computer creating content and you need to be creative? Are you dressed in a way that makes you feel creative? And that's where we talk about, I can use my dressing to boost my mood in a direction that I need it to go. What kind of energy am I attracting? This is another piece of that. So my purpose, what is my purpose for the day? And what are my goals? What kind of energy am I attracting? What kind of energy do I want to attract? What kind of numbers do I want to make? Do I want to make 6 figures? Do I want to make 7 figures? Do I want to just pay for a vacation for my family? What are your goals? Are you dressing for those goals? That's another piece of mindful dressing. Personality, purpose, and goals. So, and Haley talks about energy all the time. All the time. What we put out there is what we get back. Now, people use money as an excuse. All the time. Hi, Stacy. Thank you. Since you've been, I want to scroll down and read this comment just a sec. Yeah, living in athletic wear, and have to admit, makeup, hair, and showering are optional. Yeah, they may be optional, they feel optional, but are they optional to your success in your business? And that can be where we get into trouble. But what kind of energy are you attracting? If you want to be a 6-figure earner, does that picture of the woman you just took, does she look like a 6-figure earner? Or does she look like she's maybe going to pay for vacation for her family this year? If that's all you want, if that's your goal, that's fine. But is in your look alignment with your goal? Now, a lot of people will tell me, and I just started to say this before and cut myself off, people will use money as an excuse. They say, I don't have enough money to dress as if I earn six figures. And I will call BS on that. It doesn't take a six-figure budget to look like a six-figure earner. It doesn't take a lot of money, but it does take thought, care, and attention to detail. Thought, care, and attention to detail, which is something that some of us don't want to invest. When you invest in your image, you are investing in your business. So we said that it's about aligning your look with your personality, because you want to come across as authentic, with your purpose. What do you need to represent? Are you representing your business? Are you representing a hot mess? What is your work to do today? And your goals, where do you want to be? Is what you're wearing supporting that goal? It's about aligning that. And ideally, we want to do that all in harmony with our physical self. And the reason for that is we want to be remembered. We want to be the center of attention because people are building a relationship with you, with me, with Joanne, with Barb, with Stacy, with Julia. It's about building with Haley. We want to build we want to build a relationship with that person, not with the clothes they're wearing, but those do affect how we see them. I know we've all had this happen. You go to a wedding and you meet somebody and you do not remember her name, but all you remember is she's the woman in the red dress. Or you meet a guy at a party and he was the guy in the ugly Hawaiian shirt. That's the clothing wearing the person. You want to wear your clothes because you want to be the center of attention. It's key that you be remembered, not your clothes. So to sum it up, Coco Chanel, stylist extraordinaire, right? Fashion designer, amazing woman, and a fabulous businesswoman. Coco Chanel said, dress as if you are going to meet your worst enemy. Now, in the energy world, I don't want to think about it that way, right? I don't want to think about meeting my worst enemy because I don't want to draw my worst enemy to me. So I like to think of it as dress as if you're going to meet your next opportunity. Because whether that's popping onto Facebook Live, whether that's showing up on an IG story or doing an IGTV video, whether that's popping into the coffee shop on your way, you never know, with your mask on, you never know who you're going to meet. And that next opportunity could be right out there, either on the other side of your camera or in real life. So when you get dressed for the day, take another selfie of yourself. Take a selfie. Because when we look in the mirror, we do not see ourselves. We see the thing that we don't like and we look to see if we've covered it up. So if it's your thighs that you're self-conscious about, you generally look in the mirror and go, okay, thighs are not a problem today, or thighs aren't as bad as I feel like they are. I'll tell you, really, there's nothing wrong with your thighs. Or if it's your midsection, whatever it is that you don't like about yourself, chances are that's the first thing you look at in the mirror and you make sure that that's in check. And then you move on. I want you to take a picture of yourself, because when you take a picture of yourself, you're going to see with different eyes what you look like from head to toe. And take a look at that woman in the picture and ask yourself these questions. Who is she? Who am I? Am I representing myself? Do I look like me? What am I doing today? Am I supporting my purpose today? Where am I going today? That's another piece of my purpose. Those are the two purpose questions. What do I want to say? Because all of those pieces is that picture. That's how people are seeing you. We've all had it happen where we've seen a picture of ourselves at a party, or we catch a picture later and we go, oh my gosh, did I actually look like that? Chances are, yes, that was how other people were seeing you. So the question is, who are you? What are you doing? Where are you? What is your goal? What do you want to say? And then show up in that way. Because if you're not showing up for yourself, nobody else is doing that for you. So I hope this has been helpful. I would love to talk to you more. Anybody is welcome to, I'd love for you to follow me on social media. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest at Closet Play Image, all three, just kind of all in one word. My blog, and that's posted here as well, is closetplay.biz. That's closetplay.biz, B-I-Z, rhymes biz, rhymes with Liz. And I'm going to put a link in here for a special style discovery, free style discovery call for anybody who would like to just chat about style with me and maybe talk a little bit more about personal image or personal branding, because that's what I do for a lot of my clients who are entrepreneurs. So I'll put that link in here as well for you. I tell you to put into the promo code area, please put in the promo code EVOLVE. That way I know where it's come, because there'll be a special gift for you at the end of our free style discovery call. So you are welcome to give me a call. I would love to find out more about you and your business and how I can help you grow your business. So I hope you have a fabulous day. Think mindfully, dress mindfully, and have a wonderful week. Rock your business. Bye, ladies. Now I need to go end. I never know where to look for the button. This happens to me on every single social media platform. Have a lovely one. Bye.